I'm Adam and this is Reel Rivalries, the show where we pit two properties head to head and let you decide the winner. It was only a matter of time before Star Wars and the Marvel Cinematic Universe would start spilling into live-action TV shows. And I have to say, the first attempt from both properties was admirable. That said, I'm not really interested in admirable. I'm more concerned with which one's worth your and my precious time. Season 1 of The Mandalorian or Season 1 of WandaVision? I'll be going over the characters, stories, and the worlds of each of these before confidently stating which one is the winner. Let's begin. Instead of using some of the large lineup of Star Wars characters, director Jon Favreau opts to tell fresh stories with a new lead. Pedro Pascal plays Din Djarin, a lone bounty hunter who follows the Mandalorian creed. Wearing your helmet at all times is paramount for this crew, and that's a huge red flag for me. Not a club I'm interested in partaking in. Thank you very much. I believe we only see the actor's face once in all of Season 1, so it's safe to say he's sticking to his guns for the time being. One face audiences can't get enough of is that adorable little scamp Grogu, simply referred to as the child by Mando, or Baby Yoda for everyone else. For the record, he's not Baby Yoda. I feel like I have to clarify that, or pay some sort of price online. This unlikely duo will come across all sorts of good and bad characters. Gina Carano is the tough as nails Cara Dune, and if Gina plays her cards right, I can see her going far in this series, possibly even getting her own spin-off show. I can't wait. Not as thrilled Kuiil and IG-11 were killed off in the first season, but it does give the Star Wars property a bit more weight than some of the past films. I mean, yeah, WandaVision does kill off a cute dog, an imaginary vision, and a couple of young kids, but still, destroying that murder bot? That really hit hard. Carl Weathers shows up from time to offer Mando new jobs, and my favorite bit of casting goes to Moff Gideon. Whenever a Breaking Bad cast member shows up, it feels like part of the family's moved on, and I get excited. WandaVision stars, you guessed it, Monica Rambeau. I guess she's not the main character, but more of a terrible reminder of that mediocre Captain Marvel film. The WandaVision title really knocked it out of the park, as the main focus is on Wanda and Vision. We'll see them hang out with various townsfolk, including the mom from that 70s show, the friendly neighbor Herb, the friendly mailman Dennis, the friendly, you know what, they're all super nice people. They have to be. Wanda and Vision also manifest some twins that grow up right before our very eyes. The cute human babies are fine, if not a dime a dozen, and they have nothing on my boy Grogu. Outside the quaint, suburban lifestyle Wanda has given herself is an army of agents watching it all. Darcy Lewis is back in the mix after being snubbed from Thor Ragnarok alongside Ant-Man and the Wasp's Jimmy Woo. I have to give him props too, his close-up magic has come a long way. Speaking of magic and impeccable segues, Kathryn Hahn delivers a really fun performance as the nosy neighborhood witch Agatha. Quicksilver's in this too. Not that one. No, instead he's recast as the X-Men version played by Evan Peters. Bet you didn't see that coming, as one would say. You may be asking yourself, but why the recasting? I suspect we'll find out in round 2. No, we actually won't. I have no idea. Let's go. The Mandalorian is nicely tucked in 5 years after the events of Return of the Jedi, but before the sequel trilogy that some people refuse to acknowledge. We follow the travels of Mando, the mysterious bounty hunter who gets in over his head after accepting an under-the-table commission. The job was to deliver the child and accept payment, no questions asked. This doesn't work for Mando, who has grown somewhat attached to the little scamp. Now the hunter becomes the hunted, as Gideon scours the planet in search for the deserters. Since the plot revolves around getting the child to safety, there are plenty of excuses to touch down on unique, often interesting planets. Usually these episodes entail helping out the locals or fetch questing for ship parts. There is definitely a formulaic monster of the week vibe in the middle of the season, which can be forgiven thanks to the likable leads and overarching plotline to keep Grogu safe. As the season progresses, we also learn the child is gifted in the Force, which adds one more interesting layer to it all. While The Mandalorian is set after the original trilogy, it doesn't feel that connected to those films in the same way WandaVision does. The fallout from Endgame directly impacts the storyline. Not only that, but there are several scenes from Age of Ultron which also come into play. At this point in the MCU, it's basically required viewing to have a good chunk of these films under your belt before going into a new installment. I mean, if anything, you're just going to appreciate things a lot more, let alone understand them. To say Wanda is grieving from all the loss in her life would be underselling it a tad. She has taken an entire town hostage, turning it into whatever TV comfort food she cooks up that week. FBI and SWORD agents attempt to break through the hex barrier she's created, but most of the time they can only sit back and watch this twisted show play out. The first couple episodes are very surreal, briefly hinting at a much darker story underneath the facade. As the show progresses, so do the mysteries. Dead relatives are showing up, people are having random outbursts, and the family dog Sparky was murdered. Eventually we learn, through song appropriately enough, that it was Agatha all along. A witchy woman that wants Wanda's abilities. A big fight breaks out between the two gals. A couple of visions jump in the mix. Heck, even the kids partake in the festivities. Wanda eventually learns to let go of her past pain, finding some peace at a cabin on the lake. Kinda. The post-credits scene sees a very determined Scarlet Witch bulking up on her dark magic knowledge, presumably to resurrect her loved ones. What makes both of these stories so interesting are the worlds they get to play in. Let's talk about them after this delightful bumper. Oh, here it comes. The world of Star Wars is immense, with countless planets and animals to be discovered. It's countless because I haven't counted them. I'm sure someone has. The simple premise of The Mandalorian offers up a great way to hop around this massive universe while adding to the deep lore. WandaVision takes place in New Jersey. Our protagonist will come face to face with a massive, cave-dwelling mudhorn. He'll help take down an old ATST in the lush forests of Sorgan. If you can't get enough of old Tatooine, Mando's got you covered. He swings on over for some ship repairs. We see space prisons, force abilities, Beskar armor forging, a dark saber, a ferry ride down a lava river, and a jetpack versus TIE fighter battle. If you're searching for a highly polished Star Wars property with plenty of action and nods to the classics while building up to something new, this is the way. WandaVision mainly takes place in the town of Westview. It's a nice little slice of that American dream just ripe for a family to settle down in. The most challenging part for Wanda Maximoff is deciding which TV format she wants to set the stage in. Different episodes feature not only different looks, but also different acting methods, camera setups, and even resolution changes. There's a black and white I Love Lucy inspired 50s motif, a zany, fast-paced Malcolm in the Middle episode featuring great intro music, a Modern Family single camera show, and a few other favorites from Wanda's childhood creeping into reality. There are even fake commercials during the program, set in those same time periods. The writers even poke fun at Elizabeth Olsen's inconsistent accent, one she continues to use for some reason all the way to the very end. I mean, either do the accent or don't, Wanda. Pick a lane. While The Mandalorian has a consistent tone throughout, WandaVision keeps you guessing with its randomized structure. Which is truly better, though? That's gonna take some real time and deep soul searching to figure out. Okay, I'm ready. Let's do this. Personally, I enjoyed these shows a lot. I appreciate how WandaVision branches out from the films with its unique storytelling. Sure, it still ended with an over-the-top battle, but I genuinely cared about the leads, two characters who I previously had very little interest in. That said, The Mandalorian impressed me even more. It felt like the first Star Wars property to really capture the look and spirit of the originals. The theme song is perfection, one that still gets stuck in my head from time to time. As far as cute characters go, Grogu ranks up there with the likes of Gizmo and Pikachu. The movie-level production values, awesome action sequences, quotable dialogue, and a solid new direction for Star Wars make The Mandalorian the winner for me. I have spoken, and now I want to hear from you. Tell me which first season hooked you more, leave a like if you had some fun, and I'll see you next time on another Reel Rivalries. And maybe for season 2 of WandaVision, Hugh Jackman will show up as Wolverine. Except instead of having the name Logan, they'll call him Josh or something. Seriously, what was that Quicksilver thing? Just odd. Thanks for watching The Rivalry. It's always fun to come up with versus episode ideas, and even more enjoyable to hear suggestions. If you have two films or shows you want to see battle it out, let us know in the comments. Alien vs. Predator is always a classic pairing, but cinematic darlings like Norm of the North vs. Food Fight could also work. I think you get the idea. We'll see you next time.